Hello and welcome back to this week's Golf Ireland podcast. I'm your host Stephen Murphy, joined by my lovely co-host Valerie Wheeler. Valerie, how are you this week?
Good, yeah, flying and not a bother. How's life with you, Stephen? The last time we were chatting, you did have something big coming up. Would you like to talk about it, or are we okay?
We can skip it. We can skip it. No, no, I'm joking. Yeah, I did lose. I lost on Monday evening, but it was a great match. I lost one up on the 18th, so myself and my opponent Gary had a really good actual battle. I was giving him three shots, so it was a nice and tight battle, and neither of us got more than one up throughout the whole match. And then he won 17th to go one up, and then we both have the last, and he took the honors. But actually, I was took a lot of positives from it. I'd probably tee to green was the best I'd played in a long time. Putter didn't behave itself, but that's okay. That's going to happen. And the conditions were not to sound like Tiger Woods, but conditions were tough out there. Wind was galing and it was cold. Ball wasn't traveling as far as we'd liked it to be. So overall, a lot of positives. Disappointed obviously to go out the quarterfinal stage, but Gary's a great golfer, so it wasn't like I lost to a bad golfer or anything like that. But we'll go back at it again next year, Valerie. You get back up on the horse, as they say.
Yeah. The game's in a good place though. Like, come on, you were a couple of
Yeah.
weeks ago, you were in the depths of depression about the game, Stephen. So
Yeah, drivers. I'm hoping has taken has turned a corner. I had a couple of really good drives, decent distance for me at the week or on Monday. Iron's been pretty good. Chipping's been really good. It's just the putter. I was kind of a little bit, I suppose, timid on some of the putts, especially the ones from like 4 or 5 feet. And I just lipped at a couple, and instead of being aggressive with them, which probably would have made the difference in the end. But look, that's okay. I'll fix that for next time, hopefully. Although Ernesto, the hurricane off the coast, isn't really helping this week with golfing. But anyway, look, that's okay. We are in autumn now, as you just pointed out to me, which is pretty depressing. But how about you, Valerie? I know you're still injured. Are you able to get out golfing? I know you have a big pro-am coming up.
yeah, the big pro-am's coming up next Wednesday. I think I'm out. So hopefully between now and then I'll feel a small bit better. The boot is still on. If I could get myself a buggy now, I wouldn't be doing half as bad, so I don't have to do that much walking on the golf course. But it's like I can still stand and play. But I haven't had the chance to get out and practice much because I'm just trying to give the leg the best possible recovery going. And over the last few weeks, it's obviously been mental with the J. And this weekend will be my first proper full weekend off with nothing. So I'm hoping to just put the beat up and get it as best I can for the pro-am.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be exciting. And you were away last weekend. You were at Old Trafford. Talk to us about that. How was that?
Yeah, good. Premier League is back, so there was fierce excitement. I'm actually an Arsenal fan, would you believe? My other half is the Man United fan, but anything for a happy life, Stephen. Go to these places. Manchester's nice. I had a nice brunch. Went to the match. The match was exciting, to be fair. And look, they got the win in the end, and that's half the battle, isn't it? When you go to these things, I was like, please win for his sake, so it's not quite on the way home.
Yeah, I was gonna say happy other half at least for the trip home. So that's always that's always a plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I must get over myself. Never been to a Premier League game, so must get onto that too. But yeah, that's exciting for the Women's Irish Open next week. Obviously you are an alumni. Is that probably the right way of saying of the first tee challenge? So yeah, to be there at the pro must be pretty exciting for you.
Yeah, look, I'm really excited. Like, I think this is my third year playing in it, actually, to be honest, which it's such a nice event. It's really nice to get the pros, like you get some on the front nine and then the back nine, so you kind of get to meet two of them, which will be really exciting. And then I can't wait to see the girls in action. Like it's probably been a long few weeks for the three ladies that's on the first tee this year. I'm sure their nerves will be up the walls. Like I can remember what it was for me, but I met Mirren on a night out in Burr recently, and she was like, "Tell me what's the story?" And I was like, "Mirren, take my advice." And stand up there and go first. I was like, go first, get out the way, and just get the ball in the air, and off you go. So hopefully she takes my advice now and goes first. Well, whoever goes first anyway, I feel like you're setting the vibe, but if someone goes up there and plays unbelievably and then you have to follow, it's like, oh. So just go first and hope for the best. And I actually remember I had a great first drive on my first tee. So I was like, whew, thanks for
Yeah,
so it's
you set the tone for the
yeah.
other one.
I was like, now follow that, girls.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The gauntlet has been set, has been thrown down.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, look, if worst thing goes to worst and you can't play next week, I am available, Valerie. You
Thank
have
you.
my number. You give me a shout, and I'll be there with bells on.
Thank you
Happily,
so much. You've been my
happily,
friend.
yeah,
So,
exactly. I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for you, Valerie.
oh my God,
Sorted.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah.
We'll get on to this week's guest, Valerie. We have a fantastic guest. We have Liam Nolan, now professional golfer, just turned professional there last week. So we recap his incredible amateur career, which it is incredible, and his excitement for turning pro. So well worth a listen to this one, and we'll throw it over to that conversation now. Liam Nolan now joins me here on the Golf Ireland podcast. Liam, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm all good. I'm all good, Stephen. Thanks for having me on.
Great. It was great to have you on. After your big decision there last week, decided to go professional. First of all, congratulations. You must be super excited to make that decision.
Yeah, no, thanks very much. And yeah, no, I am very happy with it. Kind of taking the next step and doing something I love as my job is going to be really fun for the next few years.
Talk to me about the timeline. It's obviously, I'm sure, been in the works for a while. When did you first decide that, you know what, I'm going to go and give this a proper go at professional level? And talk to me about the decision-making process.
Yeah, I kind of knew at the start of last year, so start of 23, I wanted to do it. And then obviously with the Walker Cup team being that year, it would have been ideal to turn after the Walker Cup, but I had one more year left in college, so the family wouldn't let me away with not finishing college, which is fair enough. So then I came out of college not having played a whole lot of golf after being in final year, so I said I'd do kind of one more summer of the amateur tournaments just to make sure that my game was there and then turn pro at the end of the summer.
And did you seek much counsel, much advice from maybe other pros that you know, or your family and friends with the decision, or were you pretty headstrong on this is what I wanted to do?
Yeah, like I was pretty confident that it was what I wanted to do, and I had a good amateur career, so it'd be one thing if I hadn't had like the few wins and playing Walker Cup and playing for Ireland a lot. So when it came to turning pro, it kind of to everyone close to me, it kind of felt like the most logical progression after having a successful amateur career.
Will there be a hint of sadness saying goodbye to your amateur career?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, all the weeks you get to play for Ireland and we get to play, so we're very lucky we get to play so many good golf courses in all of our tournaments. So there is an element of, missing out on some of the team golf, but I'm really looking forward to just getting out there and kind of taking the next step as well. So, it's kind of happy in one way and then a bit, sad in another way.
Do you think nowadays the level of amateur golf at the highest level that you play, it's so high that the transition to becoming pro is easier than it was maybe 20, 30 years ago? And, going from playing, as you said, as your pure passion and to playing week to week for your living, the money that you need to survive on tour. Is that does that maybe is there a sense of trepidation with that, or again, as you said, are you kind of already doing that to a certain degree at the level you're playing amateur wise?
Yeah, it's for different reasons when you're playing amateur. Obviously, you're trying to climb world rankings and make all these certain teams. In terms of is the amateur game stronger now? I would say definitely, but I'd still say there's a good strong jump to the professional game as well. I mean, these guys have been, doing this like that's the only thing they've been doing for years now. So, and I've been in college and kind of juggling, one or two things. So, I am looking forward to golf being kind of the only thing I focus on. Um, Interesting to see what that'll do to my game, how it'll improve. But I wouldn't say I'm really nervous about it. Just really looking forward to it. It's kind of been a long time coming, so I'm really happy with my decision.
Brilliant. You had a great year to date on the amateur scene as well, and you got to play at the Open, which was amazing. Talk to us about that experience. You made a few appearances on Live at the Range. I was watching online and I saw you, and I saw the Galway Bay Golf Club crest. I'm sure they're delighted to see that as well on Sky Sports. But talk to me about that experience. How much fun was that, and a testing couple of days on Links Golf.
Yeah, well, it's the Galway Golf Club crest. Just to yeah, sorry, just the
You're
long lap.
correct. Correct.
Very too close.
Yeah.
No, you're good. You're all good. No, it was pretty cool. I mean, if you want to get on live at the range, all you have to do is slot in beside Tiger, and you're pretty guaranteed some air time. That's not the reason I did it. I just kind of wanted to be up close with him, not to get on TV. But yeah, no, it was a really cool week. Got to play with some, long time heroes of mine during the week, and obviously didn't have the game I wanted at the tournament, missing the cut, but just to be on that stage as an amateur, a lot of learning experiences from it, and I got some really good advice there from a few of the Irish pros, and just really reassured me that my game is trending in the right place, and that I'm kind of ready for the step I'm taking now.
Talk to me about being, as you said, beside Tiger Woods. Are you just constantly watching him? Are you trying to catch his eye at all? What is the protocol around all of that?
Yeah, it was weird because I was obviously warming up to go out for a practice round, so I wanted to focus on like my own game and how I was hitting the ball. But like the odd time you'd be setting up for a shot, and then you just like out of the corner of your eye trying to catch Tiger hitting an iron or a driver or something, and like it's just so good. Like of everyone I saw on the range that week, he still is like the best. It's just the strike off his irons and woods is insane all the time. So uh yeah, it was weird trying to juggle like me warming up for a practice round and I'm beside, the best player ever. I better watch at least a couple of shots of what he's doing here. Like so yeah, I think my coach Kenny was with me, didn't watch me hit one shot that whole practice session. He was just, all he wanted to do was watch Tiger, and I was like, you know what, that's fair enough. I hit the ball good anyway, so we're all good. Like,
Yeah, he's seen you hit loads of shots. He hasn't seen
yeah,
Tiger up close, so it's fair enough. Did Tiger? Did you say it to him? Was it
no,
very no? Yeah,
oh,
I was gonna say.
Tiger doesn't really lift his head. That's what one thing I noticed. He doesn't look at anyone, barely even his caddy, like when he's on the range. I suppose he can't, otherwise he'd just be harassed by media or like players. So no, when Tiger's on the range and doing his thing, he's very much in his own bubble, just focusing on his own thing. So that was cool to see as well. Like he's there just to try and win. So he's not going to be focused on anything else other than that.
You obviously unfortunately didn't make the cut, but when you compare those courses, that course you played to the course you play kind of at the amateur level, is there much differences in setup, or are they very similar?
There's no, they're the exact same. Exact sure. Like a lot of the courses we play are open championship courses anyways, and the amateur the amateur setup is pretty much like what they would set up that course in Troon, like so. That element of it means like we're very well prepared when we do go to these things. Obviously, the players are a lot better. But in terms of course setup, it's what you can expect when you go to a British amateur or an Irish amateur, things like that. So um, it didn't feel too out of place on the golf course at all. No, like with how much golf I've played on courses like that.
That must be reassuring as well, which is great. Now that you have called time on your amateur career, have you had a chance to sit back and reflect on maybe some of the highlights? Because the amateur, scene is quite fast paced, and there's always tournaments going on. So has it been nice to maybe sit down and reflect on the really good and the high moments?
Oh, for sure. And I've had like a couple of weeks off now, which is rare. So, it's been nice to look back on all the achievements and all, especially the weeks with the teams kind of stand out the most. Like two home international wins, the Walker Cup, the European Team Championships, World Teams in Abu Dhabi. Like those are kind of the weeks that stand out when you're looking back on it, because winning with a team is just really good because it means everyone gets to enjoy it rather than just an individual win.
Yeah, speaking of the home international, signing off your amateur career with that win, it must have been amazing. Talk to us about that week playing and winning with a team. You mentioned how important that is and how special it is, but that men's team in particular, I was speaking to Thomas Higgins about this. It is such an impressive team from name one to name the last name on the team sheet. Is it special being part of such a great group of talented players?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's kind of the first year that I was nearly like one of the older guys. Well, like definitely like probably one of the most capped on the team. So it changed drastically for me that week because a lot of the guys were younger than me, and good to have three Connacht lads on the team always. Which is great from like when I was growing up, we didn't have that many Connacht guys getting home internationals caps and stuff. Like you'd have the odd one, but it's great to see Thomas and Luke and myself getting to play for Ireland. And then yeah, I mean getting the win, especially against England in the last day. They're kind of always the toughest team to beat, and they're good competitors. So getting the men's and the overall victory was definitely a lovely way to leave the amateur game.
How nerve-wracking is that when you're, as you said, not just playing for yourself anymore, you're playing at the team level, and it must be a bit shakier in the hands when it comes to the small little putts and whatnot.
Yeah, no, it is a different kind of pressure because you're playing for Ireland. You're not playing for Liam Nolan. Like it is different. And when you have a lot of guys kind of willing you on, though, I think it does make it a bit easier. Like my goal for the week was nearly kind of focusing on the lads that were nearly playing the first time, making sure their heads were like okay, because I knew if everyone played well and we all kind of hung in there as a team, we'd win. With the conditions of that course up in Aberdeen, and the team morale we have, uh, if everyone kind of hung in there and kept chipping away in their match, we'd come out with a win. So, and that's what happened. So, absolutely delighted with that.
You touched on it there, the team morale, judging even by Instagram posts and whatnot, it seems to be a really good, bonding of the group. Everyone seems to get on really well, both on the men and women's side. Is that just something that's come natural? Is that something that, the coaches and stuff like that try and encourage in certain, maybe even off the course activities? Talk to us a little bit about that.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird like when I my first homes was 2021, and I've played for Ireland a lot, and it doesn't really matter if there's a lot of new guys on the team or if it's like players that have played a lot. Our With the Irish team in general, our teams always have really good morale. Compare like I'm just looking at other teams mightn't be like, but we just seem to be very very close as a group, no matter what teams. And then with the girls as well, like we all mix really well. So I do think that definitely gives us an advantage over some of the other teams. Like you want to root for your team and for the women as well because of the overall prize. So yeah, I think that just plays massively into our favor. And I don't know, I think it's just because we know each other so well from playing west, east, south, north, close as amateurs. So like we spend a lot of time with each other anyways, outside of the week of home internationals. So that yeah, but that team morale makes those weeks all the better, especially when you win.
Yeah, it was a fantastic win. Right, talk to us about the next couple of months. Has seeing the recent success of Irish pros now, like Conor Purcell and all that, has that given you even more belief in what's possible out there, and that the sky is the limit really when it comes to Irish amateurs going pro?
Yeah, I mean, Sport Ireland and Golf Ireland have definitely put a really good emphasis on the transition from amateur to pro golf recently. So it's great to have that support because it's kind of going from your travel, you're on your own really when you turn pro. But I've been in contact with a few of the lads that are out on Challenge Tour, which is where I'll be playing in the next couple of weeks, and they're always delighted to help. So kind of just getting that morale from the team golf into traveling with an Irish group and rooting for each other when you're at those tournaments, even though they are individual, it always really helps. So yeah, it's been inspiring to see like Connor win this year, Tom McGibbon do really well in the last few years, and then even Mark Power, John Murphy, like they've all had really good tournaments out there on the Challenge Tour and European tours. So yeah, it does give you a good level of confidence going that okay, these guys have made the step and have had great success. Like I can definitely do the same. So yeah, it's great to see them all do well. and hopefully now we'll all be rooting for each other out there when I get out there as well.
Hopefully, you're the next name on the winners list. Are you the type to set goals for the first few months now of the first few events? Is it take it as it comes? What's the expectations of the first few events?
My mindset would be more just take it as it comes. The long-term goals for me is kind of a sticky one. I like to kind of just set short-term goals for myself, and then kind of not to do with performance. And then once you get out there, I mean, everyone's trying their best to play as good as they can. So I find I went down a rabbit hole of setting long-term goals a few years ago, and when you don't achieve them, it's tough to take. So I more focus on the short-term stuff, and then what will happen will happen. So that's kind of what works for me now. So I wouldn't be saying, oh, I want to come 10th and I want a few top 10s and a top 5 and a win. So I just going to go and play as hard as I can, as good as I can in every tournament, and see what comes from there.
Well, it's a very, very exciting time for you, Liam. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Congratulations again on a stellar amateur career, and we all wish you the best of luck with your pro career here at Golf Ireland. Thank you for your time this evening as well.
Thanks very much, Stephen. Thanks for having me.
Now it is time for the new section. We'll start with the professional game. On the PGA Tour was a tied 10th finish for Seamus Power, and he was the best of the Irish at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Power carded rounds of 67, 70, 66 and a 67 for a 10 under total. Shane Lowry finished tied 50th on 1 under, while Rory McIlroy was tied 68 on 9 over par. This week it is the BMW Championship with both Shane and Rory both in the field. Unfortunately, it was missed cuts at the D+D Real Check Masters for Tom McKibben and Gary Hurley on the DP World Tour. Both players go again this week, though, at the Danish Golf Championship. It was a tough week for the Irish duo on the LPGA Tour, as Leona Maguire finished tied 61st, and both Lauren Walsh and Stephanie Minogue missed the cut at the Scottish Women's Open. Leona Maguire and Lauren Walsh will teed up this week again at the Women's British Open, and it will be Lauren's first major appearance, so best of luck there to both Leona and especially Lauren. On the Challenge Tour, Daniel Mulligan and Conor O'Rourke finished the best of the Irish at the Virumaki Finish Challenge. Both tied 27th on 12 under par. Mark Power finished tied 42nd on 9 under par. Challenge Tour moves to Sweden this week for the Indoor Golf Group Challenge with Jonathan Caldwell, Alex Maguire, Dermot McElroy, Ronan Mullarney, Conor Purcell all in the field. On the Clutch Pro Tour, it was a tied 17th finish for Jack Madden, which saw him finish best of the Irish at the Manning's Heath event. And the Clutch Pro Tour now tees up this week at Frilford Heath, so best of luck to all involved. Now on to the amateur game. Golf Ireland is proud to announce a groundbreaking partnership with Special Olympics Ireland, offering support by means of funding and a renewed commitment to inclusivity and accessibility in the sport of golf. This partnership aims to enhance the experience of 600 Special Olympic athletes, providing them with greater opportunities to compete, train and thrive in one of Ireland's most popular sports. The partnership between Golf Ireland and the Special Olympics Ireland is not just about funding, it is about a shared vision of the future. With the backing of Golf Ireland, the Special Olympics golf programme is poised to break new ground. Golf Ireland's support will be directed towards creating more accessible opportunities within clubs, increasing awareness and inclusivity, and investing in the development of Special Olympic athletes, ensuring that everyone has a chance to experience the joy of sport, which is absolutely fantastic to hear. Thomas Abom was crowned the 2024 AIG Irish Men's Amateur Close Champion in Dunleary. The Edmonton golfer edges out home favourite Richard Sykes in a thrilling playoff to lift the title. Galway golfer Joe Lyons and Belvoir Park's Gail Linter took home the Irish Senior Men's and Women's Amateur Close Championships at Kilkeel on Friday evening. Lyons defeated good friend Eddie McCormack in the final 5-4, while Linter defeated leading qualifier Deirdre Smith. Carol Burneman won the Irish Veteran Men's Amateur Close Championship, and it was Sheena McElroy who claimed the Irish Senior Women's Amateur Close plate. Eileen Sheehan is a 2024 Munster Under-16 Girls Amateur Open champion, should I say, sorry, after a score of 45 points to her claim the Ryan Cup at Tipperary Golf Club. Donna Rail Sheehan followed up a front nine of 23 points with a back nine of 22 points to win the championship by 3 points over Mira Majumbi, Daisy Jolly and Grace Donovan. Majumbi was the runner-up after a countback. And best grossed on the day went to Ella Cantwell with a score of 34 points. The All-Ireland Underage Interclub finals took place in Warrenpoint this week with the Fred Daly Trophy, boys foursomes and boy and girls interclub titles all up for grabs. In an epic battle that went all the way to the 17th hole to the penultimate match, Greystones avenged their 2023 final defeat to claim the Fred Daly Trophy, defeating Royal Portrush 3.5 to 1.5. In the boys' foursomes, Michael Elliott and Darren O'Reilly put together a standout performance in their match, winning 6-up against Tommy Hennigan and Connor Stapleton to give the Waterford men the championship 5-up overall. The girls' interclub was a tight affair with Carton House and County Louth both scoring 71 points. A countback was needed, and it was Carton House team who came out on top with the best card on the day. Royal Tower claimed the boys' interclub title with an impressive performance that saw the team win out by 16 points. So that wraps up all the news for this week in Golf Ireland. Congratulations to all the winners. It's always great to see such a jam-packed news section. As always, it means a lot of events going on around the country. That will wrap up this episode. We hope you enjoyed our chat with Liam Nolan this week. We'll be back next week again for another great episode, and we will see you then.